The happiest moment of my life began on the day everything finally fell apart. I was sitting in my car outside a grocery store, hands on the steering wheel, staring straight ahead like I'd forgotten how to move. I had just been laid off, my relationship had ended 3 days earlier, and my savings account had officially dropped below a number I didn't even want to say out loud. I wasn't crying. I was past that. I felt empty in a way that scared me more than panic ever had. I remember thinking, so this is it. This is the moment people talk about when they say everything collapsed. I didn't go into the store. Instead, I drove aimlessly for almost an hour, letting streets blur together until I ended up somewhere unfamiliar. A small park tucked between apartment buildings. It wasn't beautiful. Just a few benches, a tired playground, and a patch of grass that had given up trying to stay green. I parked and sat there, breathing, trying to convince myself to keep going. That's when I noticed the sign. It was taped crookedly to a lamppost, handwritten in thick black marker. Free hugs today, if you need one. I laughed out loud. A short, disbelieving laugh. Of all days. Of all moments. A woman stood beneath the sign, probably around my age, holding a cardboard cup of coffee. She wasn't smiling wildly or waving people over. She just stood there calmly, like she wasn't trying to sell hope, just offering it. I stayed in my car for a full 5 minutes, arguing with myself. This is stupid. You don't hug strangers. Get it together. But something inside me, something tired and desperate, opened the door. When I stepped closer, she looked at me and said gently, "Rough day?" I nodded. That was all it took. She hugged me without asking questions. No rush, no awkwardness, just solid, steady warmth. And for reasons I still can't fully explain, I started crying. Not polite tears, the kind that shake your shoulders and steal your breath. She didn't pull away. She didn't say anything. When I finally stepped back, embarrassed and sniffling, she handed me a napkin and smiled. "Want to sit?" she asked. We talked for almost an hour. I told her everything, the job, the breakup, the fear that I'd wasted years building a life that could disappear so quickly. She listened like she had nowhere else to be. Then she told me her story, how she lost her brother the year before. How hugging strangers was her way of reminding herself that people still existed beyond grief. Before we parted, she said something I'll never forget. Sometimes life clears space not to punish you, but to make room. I didn't believe her. Not then. But the next day something shifted. I updated my resume, applied for jobs I'd been too afraid to try for before, reached out to people I'd lost touch with, not because I suddenly felt confident, but because I felt less alone. Weeks passed, then months. I found work that didn't just drain me. I moved into a smaller apartment that somehow felt warmer. I started waking up without dread sitting on my chest. I laughed again, real laughter, the kind that surprises you. One afternoon, walking through that same park, I caught myself smiling for no reason, and I realized something quietly incredible. My life wasn't falling apart back then. It was resetting. I never saw the woman with the sign again. I don't know her name, but sometimes, when I sense someone around me is barely holding on, I stop. I listen. I stay. Because one stranger's hug on the worst day of my life didn't just comfort me, it gave me a future I couldn't imagine yet.